Outside a firehouse turned food pantry in rural Michigan, dozens of residents wait in vehicles as volunteers help load household staples. Prices for many of these items have either surged or remained painfully high at the grocery store. Waiting in line at the food pantry was something 35-year-old mother of three Taylor Ludwig said she hoped wouldn't be necessary when she voted for Donald Trump last year.
It's definitely only a year into his term, so I'm gonna kind of hold off a little bit before I really give my full judgment on things. So, but I expected a bit more, but I was very, very hopeful that things were really gonna just kind of go back to what they were, I'd say, before Biden.
Trump swept rural Michigan in 2024 on promises to ease the cost of living. But persistent inflation is testing that pledge and the patience of voters who helped put him back in the White House. Ludwig said the Republican Party could lose her vote in next November's midterm congressional elections if Trump doesn't move faster to fulfill his 2024 campaign promise.
I mean, I'm a realistic person, and I'm not just gonna follow along somebody like a sheep, I'm just not gonna do that.
Ludwig was among 19 Trump voters Reuters recently interviewed in the eastern Michigan town of Capac and other parts of St. Clair County. The region has grown steadily more Republican in recent years, backing Trump by more than 66% in the 2024 election. Most of those interviewed said they still blamed former President Joe Biden for inflation. And all pointed to around an 8% drop in gas prices as a positive development under Trump. Still, half of the respondents said they or their families were struggling to make ends meet. Ford told Reuters that if inflation and other economic conditions did not improve by next year's elections, they could see themselves giving Democrats a serious look in 2026, while a dozen said they would still vote Republican. Inflation nationwide is running at roughly a third of its mid-2022 peak of more than 9%. But that figure masks sharp increases in some everyday staples, such as beef, coffee, and orange juice, which have climbed at double-digit rates this year.
Certainly, I'm a lot more cautious at the grocery store.
55-year-old Michael Wendling has 4 children and voted for Trump in 2024.
Never before in my life have I felt the impact of inflation. Your wage would rise, it can measure it with the cost to live, but right now inflation is off the chart and wages aren't going up. So it's a pinch. It's a pinch.
Economists say there's little a president can do to quickly bring down prices, and note that Trump's tariffs raise import costs that are largely passed on to consumers.
I inherited a mess.
Trump has not said how he will bring down prices. But in a rare address from the White House, Trump blamed Biden for rising prices and promised that Americans will benefit from tax cuts passed by Congress that are set to take effect in January. In Port Huron, Trump voter Marisa Budaraco said she wasn't ready to blame the president yet, but wants to see some headway.
We didn't get here overnight, and so we just have to have some grace. And I understand the struggle with everybody, and as well as myself. I wish he would take that into accountability and do more things, quicker. But I don't know how that end works. I just know that hopefully he's going to do it soon.